So yesterday I was talking to the client. He asked me a really great question. Yuri, how do you lead by example with respect to your kids, your coaching clients? How do you get people to do things that otherwise they may not want to do? And that's what I want to share with you in today's hashtag winning episode. So I thought this is a great question, and I think it's a really, really important thing to think about. The first thing that I told him is, listen, I've been coaching people for 26 years, initially in soccer, and then I transitioned to fitness, and then transitioned from that into business, right? So that's been my journey over the past 26 years. What I told him as a starting point is, many years ago, I made the decision to no longer help people who are unwilling to be coached. And so that includes some of the closest people to me in my life, including family members. I do not offer advice to people who are unwilling to take it. So that's the first thing. And he said, well, how do you he said, well, his son, is very interested and passionate about playing soccer and he wants to take it to a high level. And I said, that's amazing, right? So he's always trying to find this balance of how do you support, in his case, how do you support his son without being overly pressury and high performance, like one of those dads that's over the top. And so I said, listen, I can only share my perspective because I'll just share what I do. So with my kids, I have 4 boys. I played pro soccer and I've never told them that they have to play pro soccer or anything. I'm like, I don't care what you do. Just do something you love to do. And then when you find that, go all in. And whenever you want my support, please let me know. Because what I have never done is I've never been the type of parent who's like, all right, we're going to the park, we're going to the field every single day. We're going to run laps, we're going to drill. Listen, I don't know if you've read Andre Agassi's book. It's a very fast way to leading a pretty miserable life. And yes, you can certainly create high performers like that, but that's not my style. So again, there's no parenting handbook. I'm just sharing my perspective. Nor is there a coaching handbook in terms of the one way to coach. And I look at parenting and coaching as very similar. So I shared with him my take on this is I said, listen, my kids say they want something, right? They want to play soccer at a high level, but then their actions don't align with that in the slightest. When we were in Mexico for 4 months, they touched the soccer ball twice. That's not the sign of someone who says, I want to play pro. That's not how you show up. So I'm not going to force it on them to say, you have to play every day if you want to get to this level, because fundamentally they don't actually want to. So I said, my intention is listen, guys, I'll go to the field, we'll go play whenever you want. I'm here to play with you guys. It's all good. But at the same time, I'm not going to overly pressure them to do stuff that they don't want to do. So I said, my take has been, it's like that. It's I'm just going to support you as needed. But if there is a moment in time where you're you know what, I want to go full on this, I'll be there to support you every step of the way. Because if you want to go high performance, then we'll take things to the next level. And I said the difference with parenting and coaching is that with coaching, people pay you money to tell you, I want to get better. It's cool, then you will do what I tell you to do. But at the same time, if you don't do it, I don't give a shit because it's your life. So please just show up and do the work. So my overarching advice was, I don't try to force anyone to do anything. I simply try to lead by example. So if I want my kids to live a healthy, active life, I can't tell them to do that. I need to show them. So every single day I get up at 5, I work out in some way, shape, or form first thing every morning. Sometimes they're still sleeping while I do that. Sometimes they wake up and they see me in the gym or I'm out for a run or whatever. That is the only way I can influence people. I think the most effective way to influence people, to be honest, is through demonstration. And that's also part of the, one of the challenging things with some of these videos is a lot of this is teaching, right? I'm just sharing stuff but I'm not really showing you obviously we have some videos and so forth where it's a little bit more behind the scenes, but to actually show you what it's like to be coached in this type of environment. And generally demonstration is going to be better. If you think of social media content, if you can show people the exercises to do, that is better than talking to them about it like this, right? That's why dramatic demonstration is so, so powerful. A great example of this is Volvo. If you look at Volvo's advertising, I know this is a little bit of an offshoot, Volvo does a phenomenal job at demonstration. I don't know if you've seen the Jean-Claude Van Damme ad where he's literally doing the splits between 2 trucks, Volvo trucks that are driving backwards. And, they're talking about the precision steering system or whatever it is. And it's you could say it's got a good precision driving system, or you could just demonstrate it. So I think Volvo does a phenomenal job in a lot of their ads around really dramatic demonstration. And you just remember that as opposed to someone telling you. So when it comes to coaching and leadership and leading others, I believe that we have to be the example. Like, we have to lead by example, because otherwise you're just an armchair doctor, right? I'll use doctor in quotes there. People aren't inspired by you telling them what to do. They're inspired by seeing you in the trenches. In World War I, so this is actually really interesting. So Winston Churchill was one of the best leaders of all time. I watched the documentary of his a couple months ago. It was on Netflix or Amazon. I didn't actually realize, like, I only knew a small amount of Winston Churchill, and I watched the documentary, and obviously I learned a lot more. But one of the things that I thought was phenomenally interesting was he was in Parliament at this point. Okay, so he was not the Prime Minister of the UK yet, of England, but he was in Parliament. So just think about this. He left his seat in Parliament to go to the front line in World War I. So just think about that for a second. Can you imagine today a politician leaving office to go to the front line and fight? No way. No way. And the reason he did that is because he knew he needed to command respect and earn the respect of the people that were fighting for the country and eventually for him. And he said, well, if I can go and be with them and rub arms and, like, we're in this together and demonstrate that he's not too cool for school, that he would earn that respect. And I thought that was an unbelievable mark of leadership. So again, he was showing, not telling. So the premise of, I think, great leadership is really leading by example. Hey, we'll get back to the video in just a moment, but if you're enjoying this content, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I've got videos coming your way every single week until I die. And I don't plan on dying anytime soon. And what that means for you is that you'll be getting my best insights to help you grow your health business online faster, without the grind and without all the guesswork. But the reality is this: I'm not asking for a lot, just a simple little commitment, which is for you to subscribe to the channel right now. And that way you can get notified every single time we're dropping a new video to help you grow faster. So all you have to do right now is hit that subscribe button below. It will help me sleep a lot better at night. But more importantly for you, it'll help you build your dream a lot faster. So go ahead, subscribe, and we'll get back to the show. I have a really, really hard time being inspired or led by people who don't walk the talk. They don't practice what they preach. I shared this with my team this week. I used to, when I was a personal trainer, we actually had a personal training manager, so like a sales manager, who was 75 pounds overweight. And I'm like, dude, I can't, like, how is this even possible? If you're a trainer and, like, you again, like, 100%, you can be very smart, you can be an amazing performance coach, you can have all the knowledge. I get that. I'm not discounting that. But when people come to you for physical transformation and you are 75 pounds overweight, they can't take you seriously. They're not going to look like, we are making micro instant judgments based on how people look. It would be like me selling a hair solution without any hair. It would be like me doing business coaching even though I didn't have a successful business. It would be like me helping people improve their health in some way, shape, or form if I had never done so myself. So one of the most important principles we have at Healthpreneur is we only teach what we've personally mastered. So everything that we share with our clients and teach them is exactly stuff that we've done in our business. So our premise is the products that we sell and coach our clients through is our process. So the way we run ads, our reverse scaling method, that's exactly what we do in our business, right? That's exactly how we run ads. And then we just help our clients do the same. We run a perfect client pipeline that drives 90+% of our revenue. That's exactly what we build and install into our clients' businesses. When I was first starting my first health business, I wrote a book called Eating for Energy, which eventually became the All Day Energy Diet, and that became a New York Times bestseller. But that book was my journey from tired, lethargic, exhausted into having more energy than I ever knew to do with. It was so moving for me that I wrote a book about exactly what I did. And so it's like, here's what I did. I documented it. That became a book. It helped hundreds of thousands of people. So every step of the way, I've only ever done things that I've only offered solutions around things that I've personally done myself. I think anything outside of that is just being a hypocrite. So with respect to my client's question, it's How do I parent? I do my best to lead by example, right? I believe kids are amazing at modeling, not as good as giving meaning, right? So they're going to model everything we do, right? And I promise you this, if there's anything you get from this, if you want your kids to show up in a different way, then you have to, fundamentally, right? So if our kids right now, oldest is 14, youngest is 6, they don't have devices, like no phones, none of that stuff. And we were talking about this at dinner last night. And I've had dozens of times, we've been out at restaurants, whether it's in Canada, Mexico, or elsewhere. I've had people come up to me and shake my hand and acknowledge me, like, because of the fact that our kids are just having a conversation at dinner. And I thought to myself, this is a problem if families can't even have a conversation without their kids being on devices. But guess who doesn't have a device at the table? Me, nor my wife. Like, we don't leave our phone on the table like it's a friggin' place setting. No, like I would, even if I go to a restaurant with friends, my phone is like, it's in my jacket, it's gone. I'm present in the conversation. I think that's just really important. So I want to model that for my kids. Now, I can't expect to sit at the table on my phone and then tell my kids, you shouldn't do that, because that's called being a hypocrite. So I want you to think about, in your life, where are you not being consistent? Where are you not being aligned and congruent? Are you telling people to work out, but you don't really work out? Are you telling people to eat healthy, but you don't really eat healthy? Are you showing people, how amazing your life is? Or are you just telling people how awesome it is? Okay. It doesn't matter what it is you're trying to preach. The most important thing is you got to walk the talk, because that's where people see. They're not just being told, they see, and they can read between the lines. And you can only fake so many private jet photo sessions, okay? Like, there's a lot of people that do that stuff. People see through that shit, okay? But it's the daily things, the way you show up on a daily basis, the small commitments you make to yourself, and how you demonstrate that publicly, I think is very powerful. So if you want to attract better clients, become a better version of yourself. Because people will choose to work with you based on who you are, because they want to be more like you. But if you don't show that side of you, like a behind the scenes type of stuff, they're not really going to know. They're just going to see your content, the how-to stuff. They don't really have a sense of who you are. So I'm talking a bit more specifically about social content, but also email. When you're communicating with your email list, like, let them into some of the fears and some of the challenges you're dealing with, and let them know of like what you're working on, and what, like, all that kind of stuff, right? People want to see the whole you, not just like a piece of you. All this to say that I think the best leaders, and when I say leaders, all of us are leaders. First and foremost, we lead ourselves. Second, we lead our families. Third, we lead our businesses. We lead our clients. So it doesn't matter what your title is. You're always a leader. The best leaders lead by example. And I think that's the core message here. Is like, are you leading by example? Are you aligned and congruent in every aspect of your life? Because if you want your business to be more consistent, the first place that's going to start, it's going to be looking in the mirror and asking yourself, where are the holes? Where are the gaps? If I have said to myself, I will get up at this time, and then I don't, then I'm breaking a commitment to myself. You've made it a contract. You signed a contract to yourself saying, I will wake up at this time, and then you wake up 2 hours later. You have just broken a contract with yourself. You haven't kept your word. That decreases confidence. That breaks the bond you have with the higher power. And all of that shows up in different ways that are not ideal. But if you want your business to grow and be more consistent with your income and client acquisition, all that good stuff, I'm telling you, the smallest things make a huge difference, right? Small hinges swing big doors. And if you keep small commitments, promises to yourself, whether it's waking up early, exercising several times a week, going for a walk every day, and if you commit to doing that every single day, you start to lead yourself, the business will follow. Remember, your business is a reflection of you. The more you grow, the more your business does. If your business is stuck, it's not a tactical issue. It's a you issue. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you can fix that.
You can't grow your business by cutting your way to the top. What I mean by that is you can't grow your revenue by cutting your expenses. So many people are playing so safe, and by safe I mean scared shitless, and therefore they're not able to move forward.